everybody? I'm Alvin J, the most passionate non-doctor on the internet. Today, I'm going to bring you one of the most serious medical conditions that Americans are dealing with right now, and that is diabetes, otherwise known as diabetes mellitus. Now, it is pretty common in America to have diabetes, and that is spreading throughout the world. And as no surprise, the amount of diabetes that is rising in the world is directly proportional to the amount of fast food restaurant chains that are spreading like a virus around the globe and infecting other countries by intruding on their culture and now feeding them these high-starch, high-fat diets instead of the nice native diet that they were used to. So thus, the world is now becoming more diabetic. Now, did you know that, I'll just give you one quick fact. There are estimated 382 million people in this world right now who are stricken with diabetes, all right, type 1 or type 2. Now, did you guys know that that's only 10% under the total population of the United States? Wow. I mean, some of the stuff that we have allowed to happen in this society is just mind-boggling, but if we don't stop it, the shit will continue. So I am here to give you some facts to try to help you and your family to get along and not to have to deal with this kind of stuff. So I'm going to try to help you get rid of it. Now, what some people don't know about diabetes is within 30 days, you could have type 4 diabetes, meaning that you have the neovascularizations in your eyes. You have the stiffening joints, the swelling joints, the pain in the extremities, okay? You have tingling. All right, that tingling, that means you're entering some of the more detrimental stages. That tingling is actually the muscles starting to break down. And that's because your calcium-potassium gates are starting to be mutated due to the excessive sugar that's in your bloodstream. Now, people think that sugar is good. Your body uses sugar. Well, not in the form that we eat it in, and not processed sugar especially. So when we actually eat sugar, it is then converted into a form of energy that we can use, and it's called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. And that's what your cells use. But you, as a diabetic survivor, you have to be careful, because if you cannot take the sugar out of your blood, it acts as a poison. And we call it, as a medical condition, hyperglycemia. Now, you can also have low blood sugar, meaning you haven't eaten in a while. That's called hypoglycemia, both of which can be gotten rid of completely with a healthy plant-based diet and a little bit of exercise to move the blood about, okay? So let's get started here. The first thing I want to talk to you about is you all falling for what they call in the black community the okie doke. Now, here's the thing. On the internet, they have these very official sounding websites, these names that they come up with. And the one that I've been looking at is the American Diabetes Association, the ADA. All right. So this website even ends in .org, the extension, just to make it seem more legitimate. However, what they advocate on their website are things that I could never do. So let me show you the logo. Here it is. Okay, that's the logo for the ADA. And this is what they advocate on their site. Okay, and look, wait a minute. There's that one. Now, they advocate that if you're a diabetic, you should get a flu shot in order to protect yourself from the antigens that are, or the viruses that are out there in society, so that you don't get worse, because you know with diabetes that your immune system is compromised, so you better go out and you better get an immunization. Well, in theory, that's correct. However, this is the real world, and it's fucking bullshit. Here's what you're supposed to do. I know that there are at least, at minimum, 4 toxins that are in an immunization, no matter which one you get, at least 4, okay? Do you think that putting more poisons into your body when you actually have a debilitating disease inside of you is actually going to help you any? Or do you think it's kind of a bad idea? I'm just waiting, because some people out there will fall for this because it comes from an official sounding website, or it comes from somewhere where they think that there's some kind of authority there, some kind of medical advice from a doctor. But let me tell you something. You've been living with your body for your whole life. The doctor's only known you for the 5 minutes he came into the room and said, he touched this, feel that, cough, let me listen with my stethoscope, and all of a sudden, he's a fucking expert on your life. Give me a break. You need to take control of your own medical health and don't let anybody else get in your way when it comes to that fact. All right. You must give medical permission for anybody to do anything on your body. So say no. That's the one word I want on your vocabulary. There's those 2 letters. Put them in there and use them when you are in a doctor's office. Because when we see somebody with a nice white lab coat on, we just automatically give ourselves over to them because they're wearing a white lab coat, an ID, and some ink pens in their top pocket. And all of a sudden, they are the experts on our life. Don't buy into this, people. You know what to do with your own life, and I'm getting pissed off because people just give it over with no problem. Okay? But let me get on to my next point here. All right? Now, I'm going to give you a personal story. I, myself, we do have a little bit of diabetes that runs in our family. Okay? So, when we say that it runs in the family, it just means that everybody in our family is not predisposed to get diabetes. I don't care what anybody said. Do your research, okay? That's all I'm going to say. Do your research, okay? Now, when it says run in the family, it means that because the people in my family have the same DNA, that DNA is now maybe predisposed to catch certain things out in society, of which diabetes is one, okay? But it does not mean that I am automatically going to pass it on to my kids or anything like that. So when they say there's a genetic component, that's what they mean. Your DNA is built differently than anybody else's DNA in the world, and certain families and certain pockets throughout the world have a certain type of DNA that will more likely allow them to contract something like diabetes, okay? But you don't pass this through your genes and on to your children. Okay, not even close. So don't think that it's a family thing that grandma had it, great grandma had it, great granddad had it. I gotta have it. Doesn't work that way. And if you think that it will, maybe it will. All right. If you believe in the law of attraction, then maybe that'll happen to you. All right. So, but let's move on to the next point here. For this personal story that I'm about to tell you, I actually thought that diabetes was going to come and be a major part of my life. Didn't know any way to get rid of it. Didn't know anything about healthy eating, plant-based diets, anything like that. So I just thought I was going to have to live with it. Just try to eat less fast food, and that would be it. I may have to get on medication for the second half of my life, and maybe take it for the rest of my life. I was kind of committed to that fact. But what I want you to know is that's not true at all. That's the medical line of BS that they tell you. At one time in my life, and this was about 3 years ago, I started feeling tingling in bands that went across my chest. There's tingling in bands that just went right across here, nowhere else in the body, just bands right across my chest. And I'll notice that when I took a good night's sleep and I woke up, the tingling bands were gone. All right, they had gone away. But when I started juicing, they would never come back. And that's one of the whole reasons I started juicing. But when I ate fast food and foods that were high in high fructose corn syrup, that had these components in them like processed poisons, okay, I noticed that immediately. Not a day, not a half a day, not 12 hours from now. Immediately, when I put it in my mouth and swallowed it, the bands activated again. Okay? The bands, they came right back. Now, I'm not telling you this to scare you. I'm telling you this because it's acute. It happens severely and all at once, and you are poisoning your body. And what we want you to do is avoid those types of foods, but you can have them every once in a while. Don't cut out everything, all right? We want to have some fun in this life, okay? But don't cut out everything. But you got to get more on the plant-based side because the plants actually have the things our body needs to rid ourselves of almost anything, and that includes Ebola. If you believe that, boom. I don't have time to get into it. But the diabetes, once I started juicing, and I felt that was a symptom of diabetes. Once I started juicing, it went all away. It was natural. Okay, I noticed that the bands went away. I noticed that my joints were a lot more fluid. I noticed that my knees, the pain that was in my knees, started to go away, and it went away. It's permanent to this day. I have no knee pain. I can get down. I can drop it like it's hot. You know, I think that's for women, but I can still do it. You understand? That's the point. I can still do it. Now, the thing is, well, let's get to the next part. Now, one of the main symptoms of diabetes is high blood pressure. And high blood pressure is one of those things where people are resigning themselves to the fact that I have high blood pressure and I'm going to kind of protect that diagnosis. Well, did you know high blood pressure is not bad for you? That is your body's way of intelligently correcting something that is wrong in your body. If you let a doctor give you a cholesterol pill or a statin to help bring down your blood pressure, guess what? Your heart is not going to have to work twice, 3 times, maybe even 5 times as hard to now raise the blood pressure up that you just artificially lowered with a pill. So you just took your blood pressure down, yes, because we're looking at things one at a time, but guess what? The problem is systemic. And they give you a pill for one thing, but the problem is systemic. But they give you a pill for one thing, but the problem is systemic. But they give you a pill for one thing. I repeat that only because we've been listening to the medical profession so long, we believe also that the problem is one particular section and the answer is in this capsule. I'm afraid not. The problem is systemic. So you have to take care of this system, all of it, to get rid of the one thing. See, you can't lose weight in just your butt. You have to lose it everywhere, and as a result, you lose the weight in your butt. Same thing with diabetes. If you take care of the whole body, guess what? Your vision comes back. Your joints get fluid. The pain goes away. The inflammation goes away. The swelling goes away. Your kidneys become soft and they enlarge in size and they go back to their normal function. See, your body always has set points because they're set in your brain. So, and they always want to go back there. But as long as you keep bombarding them with McDonald's and Papa John's and ice cream and fried everything, guess what? They won't, because you keep on giving them the onslaught. They're in the bunker and they're trapped behind enemy lines, and the poisons and the missiles of unhealthy eating just keep on coming. But if you stop them, guess what? The body can fight back. It goes right back to its natural state, and now you're completely healthy. Well, if you do these things as far as plant-based eating, then what will happen is these conditions, it works, all right? It works regardless, period. But if you want it to work faster, you may want to add exercise to your routine, because these conditions, hyperlipidemia, excessive fat in the blood, and polycythemia, excessive red blood cells in the blood, cause the blood to become viscous or move slowly. And what we need is circulation, and that's what exercise gives us. So if we get enough circulation going, guess what? Things work faster. So if you don't exercise and you do all the healthy stuff, you might get rid of your diabetes in about 45 days. That's max. But if you exercise, you can get rid of your diabetes in 3 weeks. Which one sounds better? Okay, so it's up to you. Pick which one you want to do. It's not my thing. Okay, you decide. Now listen, one of the things that's suggested often for the treatment of diabetes is surgery. That should be the last thing you do, because surgery is not like a teeth cleaning. You just don't go in and get surgery. With every surgery that you have, there is a risk that you will not come out of the operating room. Okay, so let's get that on the table right now. Living proof. Happened to me 5 minutes away from death on a routine Achilles tendon fix on my leg. Almost died. Okay. Now, when they suggest surgery, you should not even be thinking that. Get the hell out of there. If that's their first thing is you should have surgery. I don't care what stage you're in. Don't do it. Okay. Now, again, with no matter how deep the level of diabetes, within 3 to 4 weeks, you can get rid of it, no matter if it's level 4, if you're lasering neovascularizations out of your eyes, it can be gotten rid of. Don't think that it can't. I'm telling you it can. Yes. Okay. So, now, what they recommend is they may recommend some surgeries for you. I don't know in particular what surgeries you could have, and I'm not going to suggest any because there's too many things that go wrong with the body as far as diabetes. But I may show you a picture of some if I have them. But the thing is, I need to tell you what to do as far as getting rid of the diabetes in order to do it. So here are the specific steps in order to get rid of diabetes and get rid of it quickly. First of all, I only have 2 suggestions for you, and that is juicing and that is exercising. Now, juicing is actually going to give us the tools that we need to get the problem out of our body, all right, or correct some of the problems that are wrong with our cells. Now, if we have sugar that is in excess in the blood, if you start eating a plant-based diet, that automatically takes care of a lot, or probably about 80% of your dietary needs, okay? That's gonna help tremendously, because you're not going to be eating sugars, and instead you're going to be eating healthy plants, all right? These plants have in them antioxidants, and antioxidants are things that are going to help tear those plaques away from the inside of your body, help you get to generating nitric oxide again, and that is a chemical that is released from your arteries so that you don't clot your blood unnecessarily, or you don't have big fatty plaques inside of your arteries that can get stuck somewhere and cause an embolism, a stroke, or a heart attack. Okay, we don't want those things. Okay, so the second component was exercising. Okay, now exercising, like I said, helps those conditions such as hyperlipidemia and polycythemia. Those things that have your blood running really slow, we want to speed those up. So when we speed those up, guess what? The circulation helps these fruits and vegetables that you're going to be eating to circulate throughout the body and help you live a healthier life. Now, what do you put in the smoothies to help you with a diabetes, type 1 or type 2? Either one we can get rid of, okay? Well, the first thing is leafy greens. Any kind of leafy greens are going to work, okay? Like I said, kale, broccoli, spinach, collards, a super green food, okay? Keep it on the greens, but always add carrots. Carrots have a super antioxidants inside of them, and it's called lycopene. And lycopene is one of those things that can help with eyesight because it goes to the ciliary muscles in the eye. And also lycopene helps add tone to our muscles and helps the blood to flow more freely. Okay, it also aids in the production of blood. Now, those things are very important to know when talking about a super antioxidant. But add other stuff that you want, like you may want to supplement with vitamin D, a booster of the immune system, because in diabetics the immune system is suppressed, okay, and a lot. So you may want to take vitamin D. D3000 is what I recommend, but make sure you see the USP seal on there because it's an independent organization that helps you with those. Now, I hope that I have brought you guys some things that will help you out with the diabetic problem that you have in your life. Hopefully this information will help a family, a loved one, someone who is going through this, and help them to in 30 days be rid of their diabetes. I will tell you this, in 3 to 5 days you will see the effects immediately if you start juicing and you cut out the bad foods and things like that. There are certain things that you can eat. No processed sugars, okay, and that includes soda, that includes juice, all right, unless you make fruit juice and vegetable juice from your own live organic vegetables, okay? So none of the stuff that you buy from the store. The dairy is going to hurt you the most. I want to make sure I say that. The dairy is going to hurt you the most. Do not do dairy when it comes to diabetes. You can go back to it after you got your situation under control, and you can, pepper it in sparsely throughout your life. But if you are a lover of ice cream, then you are going to repoison yourself, and do it pretty fast. Ice cream is one of the worst things that you can eat as far as a food is concerned. Okay, so it's nothing but a bunch of chemicals that are frozen. Just like a soda is a bunch of chemicals in a can that's cold, all right? It tastes good going down, however the effects are detrimental. All right, so that's all I got for you. I'll give you a specific recipe on that in the words below this video or below this post, but I look forward to hearing from you. If you got any comments, if you want to know anything, if you want to ask any questions, feel free to do so. This is Alvin J, the most passionate non-doctor on the internet. I'll talk to you soon. Later.